as far as the AI trend goes right now, do you think it's a long-term trend or do you think it's going to be, kind of a fad, kind of like how Bitcoin was, where it exploded on a all or nothing basis and just kind of dropped off and leveled off?
That's a really good question. I put it this way. I'm a little bit of a technical Luddite, so I shouldn't be talking about artificial intelligence at all. I mean, I can barely send email. You know what I mean? But in terms of a market, in terms of the market, I would think, like I said, that there's going to be several phases to this bull market, and I do think that artificial intelligence seems like so complicated and so dynamic, right? What it can do across industries, across geography. I mean, it just covers everything and covers everything pretty quickly. So I feel like there's going to be several iterations of it. I feel like there's going to be legal battles that it's going to become unconstitutional at some point. We're going to get to the Supreme Court AI case that's going to be a defining moment. Like I think I'd rather position myself as a long-term bull with this. Like, I don't think this is going to be like up in a couple of months and then everything collapses again. I think it's going to be like, everybody's going to figure out how to make AI work for them. And then as that sort of makes its way through the markets, we'll see what happens. It doesn't sound like it's bullish employment. It doesn't sound like it's bullish a lot of things. So I had fears of it just like everybody else. But in terms from an investment standpoint, it looks kind of like an early phase pioneer market to me.
Do you know of anyone who's
Absolutely.
I've seen I agree and I've uh do you think AI is going to have a significant impact on the way markets function? As it continues to learn and improve. I've played with AI some, training ChatGPT to trade in the markets, haven't tried to identify trends. It's not as good as me, but it actually can do some stuff as well. I mean, is that something that you've thought about at all, or that you've played with, or know some people who are?
Put it this way, I would never say that it's impossible for it to play a big role in trading. I'm unfortunately, like an old Clydesdale, that's been galloping around this market for 30 years, and I only got maybe 20 left. And I've already developed my way and form and system of trading, and I still believe it's an art. So if I still believe it's an art, then AI is going to be limited in its application towards prop trading, right? Call it that trade. Now I'm not talking about, front running electronic trading. I'm talking about prop trading, buying things at one price and selling them at a much higher price, or trying to do things like that. So it could elbow its way into my process somewhere, and maybe it makes my following the markets easier, and that would be great. I keep a number of spreadsheets to follow the markets, and it's a lot of work. It would be great if it was all automated or something like that. But that's how I look at it.
Yeah. No, I've been playing with creating some AI assistants as well. I have one that helps me when I'm doing web page design and stuff like that, but I haven't even been able to use it in Excel. But that's actually a great idea. So when you're investing in AI though, are you mostly looking at the chip producers like Nvidia or maybe Intel or AMD, or ones that play into that role, Taiwan Semiconductor maybe? Or are you also looking at the different service providers like Microsoft or AI technically? What interests you the most?
I'm looking for the action, right? I'm looking for the money. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's AI or if they're trading bananas in the Dominican Republic, right? All I know is that there's going to be 5 or 6 stocks that are going to be going batshit crazy, right? And the high volatility is something that I can prey on, having, and this isn't tooting my horn, but this is what I do, is just saying, having a lot of experience across, different pioneer markets and different bull markets and different nascent young markets, that those opportunities are going to replicate themselves, like you said, in the Nvidias and the Intels and the Microsofts. And I'm not smart enough to know which of these guys is going to win the battle. I'm just here to be in the market trading in stocks. You know what I mean? Like if we said tomorrow that we're going to go to nuclear reactors, right? Like the nuclear stocks, the uranium stocks would all go batshit crazy, and I trade them because they're going to start exhibiting this, new high volatility behavior that I know how to prey on. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about AI, not because it's AI, because these 5 stocks are going to go batshit crazy for the next 5 years.
Yeah. That's
So you're not looking at the long-term buy and hold, you're looking at the volatility. How can you make the couple bucks, on the different waves?
Yeah, and it's not even as much as I mean, not necessarily just a couple bucks. Like I'm willing to
Or
kill
yeah,
it on one of the, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and it'll be, getting to know how that company reacts to AI, as they go. And so there'll be an education for me in artificial intelligence, and maybe I'll stay long something, right? And maybe I'll decide, what, for the kids' accounts, let's put $5,000 each of this stock in there, because I just learned that they're, one of the young and up and coming blah, blah, blahs. And I think in 25 years, they're really going to be having a good time at this. So that may be something where it plays into, a longer term investment. I've done a lot of things like that, where you start off playing where the volatility is and wind up saying, oh, I think I picked a winner here, So that does all come together like that for sure. But I'm like, that's why I'm excited about it, is truly for the rise of volatility and uncertainty in the markets. That just creates a lot of easy money opportunities for a trader.
When you're talking about the young and upcoming, like later on might explode, has anything stood out to you? I've done a lot of digging, and it's been some of the quantum companies stand out, but I'm curious to know if anything has stood out to you.
No, I'll be honest with you, and that's not like my lane. And like, I'm not an individual stock picker and stock studier. Like I love macro markets, and I love, seeing how those headlines, affect markets. I don't know how to pick stocks. I always say stocks pick me. Like when I learn about a company that I think is a cool company, I look up the stock, and see if it's worth trading or investing. And I was super early to Yeti. Like I inhaled that thing when it went public. I was on the Peloton train because I have a Peloton bike and treadmill right over here. And I was like, oh, people are going to love this thing, or at least they're going to love the stock. So that's kind of how I fall into either investing or trading an individual name. Otherwise, I'm more looking for the 2 weeks that I want to be max long energy stocks and make 20% on. Like that. That's the stuff that I'm hunting down.
Did that pique your interest? And you'll probably love the rest of the podcast. Check it out in the description and comments below.